What if you could have the power of satellite radio in the palm of your hand? I don't actually know what that means, and I don't think anyone else does either, but that is exactly what we were promised with the Pioneer GEX XMp3. This is a portable media player slash XM receiver, and personally, it's a very, very cool piece of tech. So let's jump in here and talk about this very retro piece of technology. First of all, it's tiny. I love the form factor. It's smaller than those ultra tiny or smallest cell phones that we had back in the day. It looks pretty cool with the XM antenna sticking out of it. It's covered in connectivity. It's got a color screen. It has a spinning and clicking interface wheel like the early iPods, and it lets you get new music wherever you're at while playing your existing tracks. A very cool XM receiver MP3 player hybrid. So if you haven't seen one of these on the Best Buy shelves and dreamed about them in the past, it's time to show it to you for the first time. So right here we have that XM antenna. On top we have this micro SD card slot, which will let you expand the built-in 2 gigabytes of storage to 8 gigabytes. That's right. It had an 8 gig limitation on the micro SD slot. It has a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack right there. On the side, we have the volume control, volume up, volume down, a rubberized ring all the way around it to make sure it doesn't slip out of your hand. If you're running, whatever you're doing with it, working, you don't want this falling on the floor. And that rubberized ring, even though it's kind of nasty now, was a cool touch. Here on the bottom, we have a dock connector because there was, of course, a home dock with the external XM antenna, which you can see, it's that gold-plated round contact there. We also have a 5.2 volt VDC input in case you want to use external power. And over here on the other side, we have USB Mini A, which is a very old connector at this point. And of course, the sliding lock and power switch right there. So you slide down to turn it on, and then you put it in lock, and there's a little red indicator to show you that you are in lock. That way, if you're on a run or something like that, you don't end up accidentally hitting the buttons. On the front of the device here, we have the XM logo at the top. It's a very sleek looking device, a little piano black on the LCD cover. And of course, down here, we have like a painted metallic black, which is also very cool looking. A back button, a menu button, a keypad button, an options button. I think keypad brings up an alphanumeric keyboard. And then we of course have a 4-way navigator. You can spin this thing around to scroll through channels, scroll through all of the tracks that you have on your SD card, whatever you want to do. Up to play, down to record, back is back, forward is forward. And I think this is a live button in the center. You push that and it jumps back to live. Now we are going to fire this thing up, but unfortunately, the only one I could find didn't have its lithium battery. So you slide the back open like a cell phone. The back of this one is cracked as well, unfortunately, but it only has XM logos, which is interesting because Pioneer built this thing. So we have the XM logo, the XM radio ID there. It's GQNW0246. And then of course the model number is written quite a few times on there, and the FCC stamp. So that's really all there is in the back. I think this might be kind of a standardized cell phone battery. You can probably buy the battery. It has an external power input, so we don't have to buy the battery. I will say, you can't power it over USB. I did try that first, and it doesn't work. You have to have a barrel connector that supplies 5.2 volts, which will recharge that 3.7 volt lithium battery. So I've got the spec sheet pulled up here on Pioneer's website. This thing was $280 back in the day. Not cheap, but it is one of the smallest XM receivers there was, and I think it's the most capable XM receiver there was. Pioneer packed the technology into this and made it a true dream device. Pioneer says you can create your favorite playlist of music with XM radio. Live XM, you can enjoy over 170 channels of music and exclusive content. They pretty much just like to say Howard Stern, don't they? That's like their main draw. Record up to 5 channels at the same time, which is mind-blowing. I don't think there's another XM receiver that can record 5 of its streams. You can also enjoy your personal music with the micro SD card slot. So record what you love, listen to what you want. Introducing the XMp3 radio, which is, they even created a new logo for it, which is kind of XM's logo with a ghosted MP3 in the background. That's pretty funny. It takes us back to the word art days. We haven't seen any logos like that in a while. More ways than ever to record up to 100 of your favorite XM programming. That sentence doesn't really make sense, but it's pretty funny. It has automatic recording, 15 to 30 hours of it, multi-channel record, like I said, 5 channels at a time. Very, very impressive. DVR-like feature, you can pause and replay 30 minutes of live XM, like most of your cars do today, especially if you have a Dodge Uconnect product. The Fords, you can just hit pause on XM whenever you want and use it like a DVR, which is something I love. You're going through a drive-through, ordering some food, hit pause, and then resume it when you're done, and everything picks up right where you left off, which is probably the middle of your favorite song. Smaller and lighter form factor, larger and more vibrant color display, improved user interface, and track wheel. They called it the track wheel instead of the scroll wheel. Micro SD slot, exclamation point. It's micro SDHC compatible, which is funny. It does say it'll work on high capacity micro SD, so it should go way beyond 8 gig. You can set up to 99 of your favorite channels on XM, and it has Tune Select, which is a very cool feature. You're listening to music and your favorite song comes on another station, and it just goes like beep beep in your ear to tell you that your favorite is playing somewhere else. And usually you get a little message that says jump to that. We're gonna skip through the rest of this because we've talked about most of it already, but the one thing I do wanna mention is the XM2Go Music Manager, which was PC software, kind of like Music Match, which would let you load music to your XMP3 player. So you could schedule recordings on the software, which is very cool. You can manage your music, your playlists, personal, and the XM recordings, and you could see the online programming guide, which is cool. You could see what's playing for the next week. That's also pretty unheard of. You're basically getting to see all of XM's programming ahead of time. Maybe if you were a small radio station operator, you could just copy from them. Not a bad plan. And you could also bookmark and purchase songs from compatible online music services, including Napster, and purchase and listen to your favorite audiobooks from audible.com/XM. It looks like the XMP3 was last made in 2008, so it is very much retro tech at this point. So we've talked about the specs. We're done with that. Let's hook this thing up and see what it's like to use it. We, of course, have to bust out our variable DC power supply to run this thing, and we'll go ahead and power it up. 5.2 volts VDC, and the screen actually got darker. It looks very nice there. And we have a please wait message on screen while it boots up. Now my XMP3 that I bought from a recycler here does have quite a bit of dirt between the LCD and the little plastic screen cover, which is unfortunate. It probably got used, jostled around in someone's pocket for a while. They worked with it, whatever. And now, unfortunately, quite a bit of dirt right there. So the please wait message went away and it did not turn on. Hey, on, Pioneer. Okay, XM animation, very cool. Software version 1.18, and we have the heat. So the heat is the first channel that popped up there, and I doubt that XM's free right now, so we probably won't actually get to hear anything. We have no signal, please go outside. Sales demo will begin in 7 seconds. Is it gonna play some audio? We need some speakers. Here we go, busted out some old school replay list here. Okay, it's just automatically scrolling through some random playlist here. XMP3, menu, one touch song recording. There's gotta be some music stored on this thing. Can we make it work? I love the on animation. All these animations are very slick. It's unfortunate that it says there's no signal, favorite channels. Okay, so you have to click. You can't just push down to drop into the menu. So let's drop down to all channels. Let's see what we get here. Cool, it loads logos on a lot of the channels. Some of the channels only have text names. We don't get the highway, we don't get Prime Country, but we got Willie's Roadhouse. Y2 Country loads its logo. No signal, please go to menu. Well, you guys will probably believe the great links that I went to get this thing working again. It was basically just opening the XM app and paying them $2.17 for a 3-month subscription that charges $32 a year after that or something, maybe even $32 a month. All I know is I will be canceling this subscription, but I might as well enjoy it for 3 months. Can you imagine actually having unlimited internet-free music in your pocket? Pretty cool to be able to stream music wherever you're at, even if you don't have a cell phone signal. Anyway, we've got this thing going. I also threw an SD card in it with some music, so I'm gonna give you a quick preview of the interface. We obviously don't have any satellite signal in here. As soon as I brought it back in the house, it wouldn't pick up any signal and it tries to go into demo mode. But now that it's been refreshed, it's not trying to go into demo mode anymore. So let's jump in here and take a look at this thing. Now, it unlocked all of its features as soon as it got a refresh signal, so we'll start with just playing some MP3s. Also, I don't like this interface anymore because you have to use the back button to go back instead of just like scrolling to the top. Once you enter a menu, you're like locked into the menu. So you guys can see the menu right here. Well, you can see Octane, Stone Sour, but let's jump over to MP3s and WMAs and play one of the songs I tossed on here. So we got Seriously Future. Whoop, that ain't it. Really slow. It's pretty slow. I clicked Seriously Future. It's playing Derek Minor. But it plays music, you guys get it. I don't really have to play a whole track or anything like that, but we will leave this one playing. Let's turn the volume down so you can see the volume display there. Really nice, a little kind of glowing futuristic line down there at the bottom. So now we have some beats to listen to while we explore the rest of the menus. So XM, we've got favorite channels where you can save whatever you want to listen to, and we have all channels. You can also see that it updated because it added XL TikTok Radio, which is pretty funny. TikTok targeted to kids, but the station's uncensored? Why'd you guys do that? And also, why does it automatically leave what you're doing and go to what you were just pausing on? I was just trying to show you the stations and the player was like, no, we're gonna listen to the station. Okay, so you can see all the channel logos have updated, 70s on 7, 80s on 8, 90s on 9. Some of them don't pull in. Pop 2K didn't pull in, but the one right below it did. Kelly Clarkson's channel didn't, Pitbull's did. I guess XM just likes Pitbull more than Kelly Clarkson. I do want to scroll all the way to the bottom. I think they have way more than 170 channels now. Let's just see how far we go. There's a Chris Stapleton channel right now. All right, so we're getting into the sports channel. There's XL Netflix, that's kind of interesting. This is premium, so we got all the channels. And we're currently at 150, scoreboard, 174, Wow, there are a lot of XM channels now. We're in the 200s. 234, NFL 234 is the last channel in the menu there. In the music library, we have Recorded XM. Let's take a look at that. All songs. We've got a bunch of classics in here. Somebody that really liked classic rock. We've got The Hunter, Send Me an Angel, Nobody's Fool, which I'm pretty sure is Avril Lavigne. You Give Love a Bad Name. All right, so that's mostly everything they had recorded. It's cool because you can sort by a bunch of different things. Categories, what channel it was recorded off of. It looks like they mostly only listen to the Pulse. Well, wait a minute, that's because I just recorded Maroon 5 out in the truck. It was the only thing on. Now let's go all the way back in the menu and take a look at auto recordings, which is interesting that they don't end up together. Even though it has all the metadata and it knows that they're separate tracks, it stores them as like a single giant file. We've got these 6-hour recordings on here of these stations, and we can load one up, Octane, bunch of good songs on here. And they are separate songs, but they're stored as one like 6-hour track. But they play with the metadata and you can jump in wherever you want. Kind of cool. Of course, in the recordings menu, there's also My Books. So if you have any audiobooks off of Audible, you could have those saved in there. This one just says no books available. I doubt too many people use that option because Audible wasn't quite everywhere in 2008. It's far more prevalent now, but everyone's probably using their smartphone now anyway. So in settings, we've got the EQ set on max boost. What's in change display? Brightness, backlight timer, and show info extras. Cool. Obviously, you can get sports scores, stock ticker prices, all the normal stuff you can get from XM. You can see it all on here as well. Edit alerts. Hey, there we go. Game select if you want it to automatically jump to an NFL or a NBA game, whatever you want to watch or listen to, I guess. And info extras is where we can pick stocks and sports. And let's get out of there. Channel access, direct tune is on. XL channels can be turned on and off in the menu. So kind of parental controls, but at the same time, I'm sure they can just turn it back on if they want. Auto recordings can be turned on and off. Set time, it pulls in automatically from XM. Restore defaults and memory usage. Let's take a look at the memory usage. So XM singles on the device, 52% used, other content 0%, and SD card is 15% used. That is it. That is the Pioneer GEX XMp3, a very, very cool little player that now I wish I had a battery for. It'd be fun to go walk around and enjoy this. Right now I'm gonna have to bring a battery pack with me to power the power adapter so that I can go listen to some music on it. I wanted to show you the XM2Go Media Manager software because who knows how much longer we'll actually be able to find it. I actually had to go to the Internet Archive to download the last version of this that I think they ever made. So this is XM2Go 1.2, and it took a lot of work to get this going on the old XPS M1210 I just picked up at a garage sale for $15. I feel like that was a pretty good deal, and it runs XP Media Center Edition, which is also very cool. It's got the old Media Direct button. Maybe we'll talk more about that in a future episode. But for now, we're gonna fire this thing up and connect our XMP3 via USB so I can show you guys managing the files on the player. So as this boots up, I'll go ahead and plug in our power supply here. It takes a little bit of time. It's actually a pretty long startup for the XMP3. It's probably 40 seconds of please wait and then XM logos before you actually get to use the player. So right now we're on the please wait screen here. It took nearly as long for the player to boot as it did for Windows to boot over here. Now there's still plenty of startup stuff going on, so we're gonna have to give this a minute. So here's the XM2Go Music Manager starting up. This software looks like it was way ahead of its time. I'm sorry I'm not screen recording it. I don't have a VGA screen recorder to use at this point, or a capture card, but we have this windowless design here where everything is, it all matches, it's themed very well. It's a good looking piece of software. And now we'll hook up our USB cable to the player. There's no books on there, but if we go to info, we can see all the info about the player itself, which is very cool. Look how well that's designed. All the animations on the player and the software are very cool. But we have about 1 gig available for music and scheduled recordings. We were using 719 for XM singles and auto recordings. Those are on the player's memory itself. And then of course we have almost 4 gigs available on the SD card. So if we want to move some music over here, we can go to the SD card and you can see the music that we added for our demo, Derek Minor, Yarn Primick, and I think we can just drag and drop. You cannot drag and drop. It doesn't let that happen. Okay, so we'll go to add songs. Hopefully get a file browser here. Oh wow, they even themed the file browser. Okay, so we got the Rock Chalk Jayhawk song there, but let's go to desktop. And we're actually gonna add a Sirius XM Air Check that I grabbed from the Internet Archive as well, and hit transfer. And now it's copying the file over to the player. So that is basically everything there is inside the XM2Go Music Manager. It's kind of like Music Match, it's got that themed window going on, but the black and the yellow all look very cool together. Well, apparently the progress bar doesn't work at all, but after about 1-2 minutes, it copied over that 225 meg file, and we can hit done, and I'll show you guys everything else on here just so you can see. You can see the track list that it has recorded from XM, which are very, very cool. And you can play any of these back. You can create playlists here on the player to organize your music. And the cool thing is you can remotely record XM if everything was working like it should. Now, of course, this software is deprecated. No one's using it anymore. So I'm sure there were some webhooks where it had to reach out and grab the channel guide and then let you schedule programming based on the channel guide there. Oh, look at that. You can schedule it as a time-based thing and it's literally up to date. It's got TikTok radio on the list, so it must be pulling most of this in from the radio, which is very cool. So that is the XMP3 with the original XM2Go music management software. Personally, I think this is one of the coolest old media players because every once in a while you just get burnt out on the music that you have on your SD card or on your hard drive or whatever you're carrying around in your portable device, and you're like, man, I wish I had some new music. And before we had always on internet access, this solved your problem immediately. And you get the weather, and you get talk shows, the precursor to podcasts, you get news, you get your sports games, you get your stock prices. This literally let you carry around an insane amount of information, and it's a great form factor to boot. That is all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching Tech Throwback. Don't forget to click one of these videos here. YouTube thinks you'd like to watch that next, and I can't wait to see you on the next one.